Warning, this video might annoy the crap out of you. So, I'm talking about GamerGate today, and I've been wanting to do this for a while. For those who don't know, I'm going to cover exactly what's going on here, starting with where it all began for me. So GamerGate began for me with the Quinspiracy, which is something I'm not going to delve into too much because it's not really that important. Basically, there was a female indie, it doesn't even matter what gender he or she was actually. There was a video game developer who was making an indie game, and that developer slept with gaming journalists in order to basically get positive reinforcements for the video game that was being made, which obviously raises some serious ethical issues. This was all brought up when the internet, were given a blog from that person's, at the time, other half, in which this was all revealed. The internet researched this, and the allegations were true. There were writers from all over the gaming spectrum, from Kotaku, etc., that were in this person's back pocket financially, and also for their own special interests. Said person, the internet did some digging, and said person, doesn't matter who they are, you guys all know already anyway, had a lot of dirt to dig up. And where I got involved was with this, the Fine Young Capitalists. I paid attention to it at the beginning, but I was sort of on the fence, trying to work out what was going on and wait for all of this to die down, which obviously it has not. So, yeah. So, the Fine Young Capitalists are a group of people, humans, like you and myself, hopefully. Well, maybe not me, I'm a robot, but who cares? Who basically started an Indiegogo campaign, and what they wanted to do was they wanted to represent females in the video game industry. They took 5 women who had never designed a video game before and gave them professional concept artists to create their ideal video games. They created a prototype and basically asked the internet to vote on the best game. The game that was best will be made. All proceeds will go to charity, with a small amount of the profits going to the creator of the game herself. And, everyone was supposed to have a good time. But apparently this was sexist, and the feminists didn't like females having a voice. Yeah, amazing. And it got spammed, blanketed, and taken down, which is absolutely disgusting. And yeah, so what happened for me is the internet responded to this. They found out, and 4chan in particular decided, hey, let's support this. This is a good cause. We love video games. We'd love to see more video games, and we love females in video games as well as males. Let's support this for equality's sake. So 4chan, a few various boards got together and started supporting this this campaign, which initially it got taken down. It got spammed, and it got denial of service, etc., so that people couldn't do it, and it nearly actually died out, and these women would have lost their chance to make a game in the industry at this time. Look, the games they threw out there were awesome, and I wouldn't be surprised, to see some of these people have more futures in the industry. But back on topic, this created a shitstorm on the internet. People were not happy. Specifically, people who were defending this person who had tried so hard to bring this down and end it for her own financial gain. She wanted to create her own fundraising thing for feminism and women and all that, which is cool. The problem is she never did. she took donations and she took people's money, and indie game journalists were still funding her via Patreon, and she to this date hasn't done anything with it outside of live a very, very comfortable life involving minimal effort. Now the internet responded to this, to 4chan being involved in this, with a whole heap of backlash. As you could imagine, people were not happy about this at all. And a lot of gaming journalism websites who happen to be in this person's back pocket would not react. They wouldn't post. They pretended it didn't happen. And all that silence did was make the internet hungrier. It made them investigate. And this led to more findings, unfortunately, which we will get to right now. And when they investigated, they found that this goes back about 4 years. A long, long time. And I'll put links to all the evidence of this in the description so you guys can read it all yourself. I'm just giving you a breakdown. So what happened here is 4chan mostly discovered that this had been going on for about 4 years, and that websites such as Kotaku and Polygon and Ars Technica, Internode Games, a whole bunch of these journalists had all had these ties to various indie game developers and gaming PR firms, etc. And I mean, this even goes into people whom I used to respect, like Adam Sessler, who was, crowned as one of the greatest, video game journalists for his time. He ran G4 TV, etc. But, that he was on their payroll as well. And what was discovered was that these journalists and PR companies and indie devs were basically crossing these professional lines, and they were friends with each other and living, like in Patricia Hernandez from Kotaku's case, living with each other and having, relationships, romantic relationships with each other. And this had been going on for years and years, and none of these journalists had said anything. They hadn't put any warnings or any notices on their articles that they were writing about their friends and family and partners, stating this, that they had these relationships. So this created a massive storm on the internet of people basically crying out to know the truth. And when the journalists basically realized that they had been found out, they created what I would call a smear campaign against gamers. So coincidentally, all of these journalism websites, Kotaku, Polygon, Ars Technica, etc., they all posted the same article within 24 hours of each other, stating, hey, gamers are a dying breed. They are pathetic, misogynistic, racist, hateful people, and that they are a dying breed, and you should not associate yourself with the term gamer, because that is bad, and you are a bad person for being a gamer. And once again, gamers were like, well, hang on a minute, isn't it a bit funny how all these journalism websites have just popped up and just made these articles? Weeks of silence has gone by, and suddenly a coordinated attack pops up online against, us, the gamers. And you could imagine that the gamers were pretty upset about this. So, they kept on posting their facts and findings on the internet. And this is where we get through to some publicity. So a few people popped up, Jontron, Boogie, Total Biscuit, and basically shared their opinions on the matter. And a few indie developers came out and shared their opinions on the matter, and they were pretty much slandered and shut down. People, like, were getting threatened by what has been called the social justice warriors, or SJWs, and it was heartbreaking to see. Like, some of these people, whom I may not have been a fan of, were getting death threats and slandered constantly, etc. And I know this happens to females on a day-to-day basis, and anyone who tries to speak out, it does happen to, and it's happened to me many times. Not on this YouTube channel, but in other things, So, I felt empathetic, and I sort of sat on the guidelines to see where it was going. And the more and more that I found out, the more and more I was disgusted with the gaming industry. It's so incestuous and just, if this was any other industry, and it's happened in other industries, you would be seeing it on international news right now, and people would be losing their jobs very quickly. Now, I'm not saying that should happen in this case, but hey, it's happened for other people. So the internet's still angry. They're still, shouting. They're uncovering more truths about more journalists, etc. And it garners some attention. And the likes of actor Adam Baldwin, who is in a TV series at the moment called The Last Ship, which I have not seen, but I will actually watch it now, because I have a lot of respect for this person. So Adam Baldwin comes out and he coins the term Gamergate as a sort of play on Watergate, which you guys should all know, Nixon, etc. That didn't go down well, and he starts getting threatened, etc. But we're still not hearing anything from the journalists. The gaming journalists, that is, have all been so quiet, so very, very quiet. And while this has all been going on, 4chan and other contributors have been donating to the Fine Young Capitalists, which I mentioned before, and their game is, getting funded. It's getting donated, like thousands of dollars within 24 hours. And the Fine Young Capitalists were amazed by this. And you would think the internet would be happy, like people would be like, oh hey, these women can finally make the game of their dreams right now. This is awesome, I'm so proud for them. But no, they got slammed for letting 4chan donate to a good cause. It's ridiculous. It's like it would be like if a homeless person died, and turns out he had a lot of money, and that money, he wanted to donate to cancer research, and the cancer researchers were like, well, hey, we're not going to accept your money because you were a homeless person, and that we don't want your money. You have a bad reputation. It's ridiculous, if a criminal died and donated their millions of dollars to cancer research, cancer researchers would be very, very happy. They got all this extra money to do more research and, hopefully find a cure. But in this case, people are like, why would you guys, a charity organization for women, accept money from a, they called it a cathedral of misogyny? And they got slammed again, and people started taking down the website, and they got hacked and all this other stuff. But they pressed on, and out of it became a mascot that the folks over at V and Politics board on 4chan created, called Vivian James, who was just an average everyday gamer who happened to be female. And this spawned a lot. People were amazed. She essentially became the spokesperson for equality in gaming, a very, very big thing to be proud of. And the internet blew up. There were hundreds of fan arts of her, some not appropriate, some very appropriate, and it was awesome. And these social justice warriors still slammed this as a sexist movement and all this other crap. then we get back to the likes of Adam Baldwin, who, coined the term Gamergate, and, is fighting back. He's fighting with the gamers, saying, let your voices be heard. Don't let, he's seen this happen in other industries, and, we should fight back. Because the journalists in this instance, who have, are corrupt and basically on everyone's payrolls, are still refusing to talk, and it's terrible. So, then, because of all this extra publicity Gamergate has funded, a gentleman called Milo Yiannoupolos, I probably said that wrong, I apologize if I did, gets involved. And he basically is what I would call a real journalist. It is amazing watching this guy do what he does. So Milo comes out and he does actual investigating. And what he finds, I would say, normally say it's shocking, but it didn't shock anyone. We already knew this, we just needed the proof, and he got us the proof. And he is amazing. And basically what he found were private emails from indie game developers to other to game journalists and various other gaming personalities, whom have basically been in each other's back pockets and breaching the ethics of journalism, which is what Gamergate is all about. Gamergate is all about ethics in journalism. That's what it is. It's about gamers saying, hey, we just want to play games and we want the honest truth in our news. We don't want you to push your feminist or agenda, and we don't want you to push your friends' games, and we don't want you to blacklist indie devs because they believe they have a different belief, whether it be religious or political, than you. We want news the way it should be, the way it always has been for the most part. We want real journalism, real news, and we want you to stop pushing your agendas on us. So Milo comes out and he finds a gaming club, secret clubhouse, treehouse on Google, which is called Game Journalism Professionals, which is ironic because nothing these people do is professional. And this is a group of roughly 150 industry figures, including Polygon, Ars Technica, Wired, Eurogamer, Destructoid, Kotaku, Joystick, TechRadar, PC Gamer, IGN, CNET, Vice, VentureBeat, CNBC, USA Today. It's got PR firms, it's got indie developers, it's got bigger game developers in it. And these people all sit down and talk to each other about what they're writing about, what they feel like other journalists should be writing about. Hey, you should take this article down, we don't agree with it. We should support this developer and blacklist this developer. We don't agree with what you're saying, and if you want to keep working in the industry, you need to follow our standard. And it is ridiculous how many people are in this group. Just to name the first, 5-10 people, okay? Adam Rosenberg, Digital Trends, Alex Navarro, Giant Bomb, Alex Rubens from IGN, G4 TV, PC World, Official Xbox Magazine, Polygon, Gamer Magazine, Games Radar, Joystick, Kotaku, Destructoid, Tech Hive, Game Informer, Alexa Ray Korea, Polygon, Andrew Finch, Geekbox Podcast, Andrew Groan, Penny Arcade, Wired, Andrew Hayward, Stuff TV, Tech Hive, IGN, Macworld, MacLife, Joystick, Andrew A. Cunningham from Ars Technica, Andy Chalk, PC Gamer, Andy Eddy, author of Game Over, Press Start to Continue, Annette Cardwell, Yahoo Shine, Wikia, Anthony John Agnello, Joystick, The AV Club, Edge, Fast Company, and Ben Kuchera, editor at Polygon, and Ben Gilbert, senior editor for Engadget. That's just, the A's and the first two B's in a list that goes all the way up to Z. It's ridiculous. There's 150 journalists here with, who are discussing with each other and pushing agendas and coordinated attacks, and this just goes to prove everything the gamers had found beforehand. It's terrible. And I mean, in this group, in these emails, we've got We've got people saying, like, this is Andrew Groen from Wired, and I quote, I had a thought, maybe a bad one. You tell me. I remember a few years back when Patrick Klepek hit on some tough circumstances. Just for your information, Patrick Klepek is another game journalist. We all pitched in to get him a feel-better gift. Anybody think something like that could be appropriate to address the circumstances that have been forced upon the female developer whom, had their sexual relationship with game journalists to get good publicity on her game? Even if it's not monetary, maybe a signed joint letter of support from the Game Journo pros. I know she's not a member of our group like Patrick was, but I do know that this is part of a broader theme of the industry, losing talent to the toxic culture, and that our business, in my mind, it's a joint show of solidarity to match the trolls' joint show of force. The last thing I think we want is indie developer thinking she's under attack alone. The brain has a way of convincing you that silent people are against you. Now, a lot of people came out and said, hey, that's not very professional, I don't support this. A few people like Kyle Orland from Ars Technica came out and said, I like the signed letter of support idea. Even better if we can get some developers in on that. Anyone want to volunteer to draft something? And we get William O'Neill, the editor-in-chief of TechRadar.com. He comes out and he says, who here hasn't slept with a PR person or a game developer? Hashtag, am I right? This is how these people ask. But, there were some people like Jason Schreier of Kotaku who says, as sympathetic as I am to the horrible harassment indie developer faced, I think this incident has raised enough questions about the incestuous relationships between press and developers already. That's Jason Schreier of Kotaku. Mike Footer of Game Informer comes out and says, I would prefer not to be associated with this. It feels wrong to me. I think it feels very off to reach across the fence from journalist to subject in this way. I'd prefer professional distance, especially given the accusations being levied at us from outside. This is some pretty heavy stuff. So these journalists know that they shouldn't be doing this. They're aware of that. It's not like they're just amateurs, They have journalism degrees and they're sitting there going and having these private clubhouse meetings, no homo allowed and all this other baloney. And this whole time gamers are shouting online and they're getting nothing but silence from the journalists, and the ones that journalists do speak out basically send immature threats to the people speaking out against them. I mean, Milo Yiannoupolos has received syringes with mystery liquids in them, and Adam Baldwin is under constant scrutiny on Twitter, people telling him to kill himself and all this other stuff. People are already attacking like Milo's sexuality as well, which these feminists should be promoting equality. They say they promote equality, but they attack someone for having a different sexual preference to them, or the same sexual preference to them in some situations. It's ridiculous, and it really, really frustrates me. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I'm making this video just to express myself and get the word out there that this sort of action isn't good enough and it shouldn't be tolerated. And the problem is, if you search GamerGate, it's been censored left, right and center. So the social justice warriors are the only people getting their word in outside of a key few. For example, like even 4chan is censored. You can't talk about Gamergate on 4chan or anything with a GG in it. If you post something about Game Grumps, a very popular YouTube channel that most of you know, you'll be banned for Gamergate. And the funny thing is, like, I had nothing to do with this, but the internet researches this and find out that Moot, the creator of 4chan, is dating a female who writes for Gawker Media, one of the major gaming journalism branches and journalism branches under question and scrutiny here, with so much proof against them. It's It's disgusting. So obviously there's that link. You can do the math. 1 plus 1 is 2. Male dating female writer who's under scrutiny censors any topic on his website about what she's under scrutiny for. Doesn't matter what the website is. That's absolutely terrible. And then on top of that, we have, people losing their jobs. There was a gentleman whose name I can't remember, who actually lost his job for being dark-skinned. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is the year 2014, and we have a massive display of journalistic, integrity. Well, it's not journalistic integrity. It's the exact opposite of that. We have a huge breach in ethics from these journalists. They're acting like little children, threatening people, and like denial of servicing attacks people, and just creating these coordinated attacks. And I mean, whenever anyone tries to speak up against this, they get silenced and called a misogynistic, hack, or a CIS privileged white male, even though half the people talking about this are female. And I don't have the numbers here, but I bet a solid amount of these people, and there's probably an even amount of people across the board here of different races and backgrounds and descents. It's horrible, and because it's the internet, nobody can see that, so we're all apparently just white neckbeard scumbags. But yeah, it's disgusting, and if you're a gamer out there and you see this video, you should be looking into this. And if you're not a gamer out there, but you value the integrity of journalists and don't want to see a entire industry crumble apart, you should be reading up on this, because and don't just fall for one or two things. Look into it. Look at the facts. Look at all the spreadsheets going around, and look at anything Milo Yiannoupolos writes. It's incredible how far people are willing to go to stop and block out this integrity. There was another big journalism scan a couple of years back, which was the exact same thing. It was the journo list, and that got people fired almost immediately. And if you have a look at GamerGate, it's been going on for a month now, and nothing's been done. The innocent are losing their jobs and getting blacked out of the industry for speaking up, and the people who are guilty of all of this, who should be under scrutiny and who should be getting investigated by their parent companies and sponsors and advertisers, are just sitting there in their secret clubhouse talking about what they're going to try next to block it out. It's absolutely horrible. So all I can really say is things need to change. And if you're still actually watching this video of me just rambling to some images on a screen, I just want to talk about where I think this movement needs to go now. Obviously, we've got Milo, who's doing an awesome job representing gamers and doing an awesome job on the journalism behalf of things, which is great. And we've got Adam Baldwin, who has been great, for a busy person, filming a TV show, etc., and also taking the time to fight the good fight is amazing. But what I think we need to do is fight fire with fire. Before I go ahead, I just want to mention Christina H. Sommers also did an amazing video on gamers, and the whole GamerGate controversy, which I will link below as well. For those that don't know, Christina H. Sommers runs a YouTube channel called The Factual Feminist, where she talks about feminism, the good kind of feminism, that is, because there's a good and a bad kind, trust me. Well, don't trust me, I'm just another, privileged person of whom, is on the internet, but trust her. Watch her videos, trust her, it's amazing, she's based. But, yeah, where we should go with this is fight fire with fire. Obviously, there are some good gaming journalism websites out there, like Jamatsu and Silicon Era, and I'm trying to think, like, what's that one's name? I've lost it. I apologize. You know the ones out there. Jewel Shockers, Indie Juice. You know, there are some good gaming journalism websites out there not involved in this website. Start visiting there. Don't visit Kotaku and Polygon and Ars Technica and PC Gamer and all that. Don't do it. You're not getting real journalism. You're getting an agenda pushed towards you. They want you to buy these games to support their friends. They're not giving you honest news and reviews, and that you need to be aware of. Don't give them your time of day or money. If you are on 4chan, just stop. Don't go on there anymore. It's pointless. All you're doing is helping this in the wrong way. Jump on Infinity Chan or one of the other million chans out there, or even better, follow up with my next idea. GamerGate. It's an awesome name. I know there's a company called GamersGate that, you know, sell video games. That's cool. But GamerGate could be an awesome journalism move as well. We could all get together and form a website, you know, gamergate.com, the gateway for gamers. I don't know, something along those lines, there where we could actually post the real news and do real journalism and investigating. We could, you know, we might not be journalists, and we might not be able, you know, have that degree under us, but we can link and spread news of real journalism. We could, you know, not just copy paste articles, but share articles on our website from other good journalists who, you know, are not under scrutiny for this stuff. And we could fight for what's right, and we could form our own community of gamers who just want equality. It doesn't matter what color you are or what appendages you were born with. You know, you could be from outer space. It doesn't matter. If you enjoy video games and you like to play them and you want to play them with other people, you could walk through the Gamer's Gate and find your holy land, if I might say so. We could make that a reality. It wouldn't be that hard to do, and I think that, you know, would be that's where I would like to see this go. You know, if you give, like, it's good saying don't go here, don't read this person's articles, etc. You know, fight for what is right. But it's been months now and not much has happened on that front. I mean, we've posted articles and we slammed some names, but, you know, they're still just pretending like nothing's going on. If you ask me, which nobody has. But if my opinion of this is, let's counter what they're doing. If you give people somewhere to go where they trust, you know, these people, and as I said, it doesn't have to be another news website. It can be a website that supports the good journalists and the good news websites by sending people to their websites, you know, and allowing gamers to discuss this news and these articles on the website. If you give people, you know, a refuge to hide out in, that, you know, they won't need to go anywhere else and they won't need to read these other websites. And then that is how we will see a negative, you know, a negative impact on these websites and a positive one for the gamers. And if we do that, I think we'll make some leeway. Yeah, like that's where I think these things should go. I'm going to end recording this very soon as well because it's getting pretty long, but I just want to say, don't you guys think it's funny that, and if you do the research you'll find this as well, all these people have been slammed and there's so much, you know, incestuous sort of actions and relations in this industry which are disgusting, but the one person whom I feel has copped the most flack for this sort of stuff, for selling out in the past and doing all this sort of stuff, has not been mentioned once that I found, and that would be Jeff Keighley from Game Trailers, who hosts the VGAs. I would absolutely love to hear how he feels about this, because he hasn't said a thing. He hasn't been involved in any of this. He's not in the secret mailing list. And this is the guy who was Don Dorito Pope. I want everyone to think about that for a minute, because that is incredible. And I would love to hear his thoughts if anyone could, you know, make that happen. But yeah, look, support gamers. Don't support agendas being pushed against you. And, you know, don't support fake articles, well, not fake articles, but one-sided articles that are just, helping a friend. And don't support journalists that pay indie game developers and have financial ties and, are actually profiting off these indie game developers, and not through journalism. Don't support that. Stand up for what's right. Use the hashtag GamerGate on Twitter. Do some research into this, and you know what? If anyone wants to discuss further with me creating this Gamers Haven a la GamerGate, reach me out on here, or don't even talk to me about it. If you're just gonna make it. Let's make this happen. Let's do it right. And let's show these people exactly how it should be. Lead by example. If we can create this website and people are reading these articles, and the gaming journalists that are doing the right thing are, raising their status and being awarded for this, and the gaming journalists who haven't done the right thing are being left in the dark and people aren't reading their articles anymore, then more journalists will want to come over to our side and do the right thing. And if we keep close ties on this, and we keep an eye on it and make sure everything's okay and the right people lead it and manage it, this could be an awesome opportunity of us to fix things instead of sit there and scream at them from the sideline. So yeah, I'm going to end this now. My name is MundaneMatt. This is Top Game. I'm a gamer. I don't care what race or color or gender you are, and to be honest, nobody does. Play video games, have fun, and hey, look, if you want to play video games with me, hit me up. Comment below. I'll be more than happy to play video games with anyone, as long as you're not an asshole. With that being said, I'll post resources and information in the comments below. Peace out. Have a good evening. And form your own opinion. Speak up. Have a good night, everyone.